The year was 1987. The greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, was in the All-Star Slam Dunk Contest. Now, what he did turned out to be something that no man had ever done before. Took a few steps, dribbled, jumped from the free throw line, and slam dunked the ball. It was like he was frozen in air. The name Air Jordan just stood out because Michael Jordan had done the impossible. Now, little unathletic Trent thought that, maybe he could do that in his own front yard. So I remember going out to my driveway, dribbling, trying to be Jordan, and it was impossible because the talent and skills that Jordan had, I didn't have at all. Gatorade in the early 90s released an ad campaign. It was the Be Like Mike campaign. And it was the greatness of Michael Jordan surrounded by all kinds of little Trent type aspiring athletes that were giving it their best attempt to be like Jordan. They were dribbling, they were trying to dunk, they were shooting, and the reality is that even though they were in the midst of greatness, none of them were Michael Jordan. Which brings us to this point. What does it take for us to try to be like someone, to be like Mike?
Be like Mike, yeah, I try.
The impact of Michael Jordan lasted well past the 80s. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. There's no dispute there. Even in 2002, there was a movie made with Lil Bow Wow called Like Mike. Lil Bow Wow was an orphan who found a pair of shoes that whenever he put them on and spoke his magic words, they gave him the intangibles to be able to imitate Michael Jordan. This persona that is undisputedly the best basketball player of all time, lasted well past the career of the man in basketball. It captures this idea that there's certain people that come into our world that change the way we see things, that change the way we interact with the world. Before, people didn't just want to be like any other basketball player. They wanted to make their own way. But after Michael Jordan, everybody just wanted to be like Mike.
Don't believe, please. Step up, cause I'm bad like Mike. You know me.
So in Ephesians 5:1, Paul says to be imitators of God, to follow after God's example. Think back to whenever Trent was talking about how he wanted to be like Mike in his driveway. It was never going to happen. There are certain intangibles that Jordan has, that he had, that have been tried, that NBA players have been trying to achieve for the last 20 years. Nobody has been able to successfully mimic what Jordan can do, right?
Right. But when we slow down and we look at our quest, our desire to be like God, what we know is that God, through the Holy Spirit, has gifted us with the ability, with this ability to reach and achieve characteristics of Him. They were gifted to us. Galatians 5 points out the fruit of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. All gifts that God gives to us that we have the ability to grow and develop within us so that we can be like God. Now, that's something to reach for. That's something for us to aspire to be like, because it's possible. It's reachable. It makes us in the image of God with God characteristics that help the world around us see God through our lives. This summer, we're going to explore how we implement, how we fine-tune, how we grow these fruits of the Spirit that God has placed in us through the Holy Spirit. And we want you to join us with that. We want you to dive in deep as we grow together as disciples of Christ this summer.
Little bow wow.